Hi everyone, this video we're going to talk about off-season winners and losers. About to start the 2015 season, so let's take a look at some of the teams that did well this off-season and some teams that didn't do well. I'm primarily going to focus on teams that didn't make big improvements over the off-season because I've already have enough GMs who don't like me, so I don't need to really piss off anyone else. The first team to talk about is, obviously, what other team would I talk about? The Minnesota Twins. Aaron did a hell of a job this off-season. I think so. Most people think so. He went from one of the best teams in the league with no minor league system to one of the best teams in the league with a great minor league system. So he messed around with his majors a little bit, but he... how do I put it? I don't know. He definitely improved his minors a ton, and I think he improved his majors even some, a little bit. First trade he made, he traded Cy Young. He got Cy Young traded away a bunch of pieces. Then he traded Joey Bats away for a bunch of more pieces. Then he traded away Chase Utley and Jason Barley and brought in the guy. And so he was making moves. The big trade that he actually dealt the guy away, dealt away Darvish. Darvish got Cy Young winner, pitching like one of the best pitchers in the league, but he doesn't have the best ratings. He's making $28 million a year, so it makes complete sense why he dealt them away. And after his trade, where he dealt away Cy Young, he dealt away Cy Young for Honus Wagner, then traded away Honus Wagner to San Francisco. The team he ends up with, or the pieces that he ends up with, are incredibly good. He has Bumgarner in his rotation now. Bumgarner is an ace and only 25. That's, I would say, Cy Young Darvish level. I mean, he hasn't pitched like it yet, but he's been in the National League. I'm sure he'll pitch great for him, especially since he got really good winter ball and lefty-rightied, I believe. He also signed Riscaino in free agency. So Minnesota has greatly improved his minor leagues, picked up some picks, has a really good minors now. I'd be remiss if I did not mention Minnesota's wheelings and dealings this offseason. And so I'll start with him. Another team that made a lot of moves this offseason and I think did well for themselves is the Boston Red Sox. Boston Red Sox struggled down the stretch, finished 80-81 last season, and they do not look like they're going to repeat that after making a flurry of moves this offseason. The first deal, clearly, I mean, if you look at the boards on the trade, I did not like the move they made, trading away Adrian Gonzalez for pretty much Euclid and Wheeler. They dealt away the best player in that deal, and I don't think they got enough back in return. But after that, Boston's made a bunch of moves, and rather shrewd ones, if you ask me. They signed the best hitter in free agency, Dexter Fowler, who is a really good leadoff hitter type. That's a good move for them. They brought in Jose Bautista. Bautista, 34 years old, did not have as good a season last year as he had the previous three. So it's not play like he did in Minnesota, like he did in Toronto. But Bautista is still a huge hitter. That's a good move for them. They traded for Jose Reyes, still a very productive shortstop, only 31 years old. Reyes steal a ton of bases, hit 15 homers, driving 100, maybe score 100 runs. Reyes is really good. And then the final piece that they made, this trade, Boston not have that great rotation, hoping that King Felix can return to form a little bit and pitch much better than he did his last year, 2 years maybe, in Seattle. King Felix, they got him. They got Dustin Ackley, who is a solid second baseman, 27 years old. Ackley not have a good year last year, hit .235, but he's a solid, good young player. They also got a really good young reliever, 26-year-old lefty in Josh Osich. So that's a bunch of moves made by Boston. Most of them, many of them, good trades. So good job by the Boston Red Sox. We'll see what happens in that division. Another team I think did a really good job, or at least a good job this offseason, was San Francisco. San Francisco, one big move. I mean, they signed Ian Stewart and Evan Schreiber. They signed some guys in free agency, but the big move obviously was the haul they gave up for Honus Wagner. Now, did they give up a lot? Yes, but I mean, who am I to say? Teams give up a lot. I made the Wart deal. But they got Wagner. Wagner is an absolute stud. 100 contact, 100 gap, 63 power, 80 I, 91 of white K, 8 running speed, 10 stealing ability, 10 base running instincts, and he is only 24 years old. The Dutchman, Honus Wagner, is going to be great for San Francisco for many years to come. So, congrats to them. That was a very great move for them. I mean, their mortal enemy, in Arizona also had a really good offseason and they made a bunch of trades, yes, but the one that I mean is the big one is a trade they made with Kansas City. Um, Kansas City, of course, Sean has an endless number of great young pitchers, so he felt that he didn't mind dealing one. And Arizona picked up a great young stud, 10-10-10, 25 years old, 93 stuff, 94 control, 90 movement. I mean, he traded for an absolute beast, and he didn't really pay a ton for it. I mean, if you want to go by the work deal I made, he paid a lot less for a pitcher that's just as good. So, good job by Arizona. Another team that did good, or at least did okay, did well. What am I saying good for? I think I did a decent job. Baltimore. Baltimore made a bunch of trades this offseason. Brought in a young catcher in Mangden, who is good. And also made a couple trades, bringing in older guys, Roy Halladay and Ryan Braun. Both of them are older, but yet they're still very good players. So I'll tip the cap to myself, which doesn't make any sense. Those are all the teams I think did a really, really good job this offseason. The teams that I think didn't do well, really want to go into it that much, but I think the Yankees needed to make some more moves. They didn't really. Yankees signed Trevor Cahill. Again, $22 million a year, which, yes, is too much money, but then again, Yankees have the money to spend. Yankees made $31 million last year with a $184 million payroll, so why not give the guy the money? I don't have a problem with the money, but and I'm okay with the signing. It's just they didn't do anything else. Yankees maybe should move Joey Votto at 31 years old while he still has some value because he's not playing well for them. The production is not equal to what he should be, so they can probably get more for him. Another team I think didn't do well. I don't like what Houston did. I do not like that deal they made. I mean, they got in return. Cy Young is a very good young pitcher, okay? 22 years old, 9-10-9, 88 stuff, 91 control, 87 movement. He's pretty good. I mean, and Trout, I don't know what Trout. At one point, I was obviously, like everyone else in the league, salivating over Trout, but he just hasn't developed. He hasn't moved in a couple seasons, since coming to the bigs especially. So, in return, I mean, if this deal was Trout and Young for Wagner, I'd be okay with that. I think that's actually a pretty fair deal. But the fact that he also gave up Jose Thompson and his first-round draft pick, which is probably going to be a pretty decent pick, he gave up way too much in the deal. I mean, Wagner was a centerpiece. I don't know why he gave up a 27-year-old third baseman who has 93 contact, 66 power. I mean, a solid, good, young third baseman. But he did, so, okay, I do not like the moves that Houston made, but whatever, it's his business. Besides for that, my man JP in Cincinnati, he got bored. He says himself, he got bored, so he decided to make some moves. His team's going to be better, but I don't know if it really helps going forward in the long run, the moves he made. He brought in some players, you know, Utley, Jason Bartlett, older players that I don't think will be around in a few seasons to really actually help him. I mean, I don't know. It was a nice deal he made where he traded with Arizona, took on Iwakuma's salary, you know, took on Iwakuma's salary, and then was able to give him away pretty much for free. So he picked up like a free player in that deal. You know, like something like Matt Laporta. Laporta's 30 years old. Is he going to be really around when Cincinnati really, you know, plans on competing? I don't think so. So I don't really like the job that he did this offseason. The teams that are rebuilding. I don't think they do a bad job. So I'm not like nothing wrong with Toronto. What Toronto's doing, what Seattle's doing. I mean, they're both rebuilding, so that's fine. But I don't know. I think teams like Detroit and Kansas City. I mean, listen, they're great GMs. I'm not gonna say anything bad about them, but Minnesota's making moves. Evans making moves in Cleveland. They really pretty much didn't make a lot of moves this offseason. And I don't know if they want to compete. At least, well, obviously they can compete because they have really, really good teams. But they've not decided. They've pretty much decided to stand pat and go with who they have. I mean, I'm going to give everyone in the NL East. I mean, no one really ran away with that division last season. Same thing in the NL Central. I mean, those are divisions to be had if someone wants to go and make a run for it or try something. But neither team really. I mean, none of those teams in those divisions really have decided to go out and actually make moves to try and, you know, win the division. Washington made one trade and brought in John Lamb, a good young pitcher, but those teams should really be going for it. I mean, those are divisions to be had. Teams in the AL East are getting better. Teams in the AL Central are getting better. Teams in the NL West are getting better, but the AL West, NL East, NL Central. I don't know. Like, what would the odds be for one of those teams to win the World Series? I don't know. I think teams in other divisions are half the league are trying. Teams in the other half are not trying. And yes, even though I tried not to, I said I wasn't going to do it. I didn't want to piss off a bunch more GMs. I just alienated half the league of it by calling them out. So good job by me. And yet I'm still going to end up posting this. So because I really get the points. I think I'm at like negative 5,000 points. So thanks for watching, everyone. If you did, or hopefully no one actually watched this one. Besides, for getting points for it, because I don't really want, because I don't piss people off. Anyways, thanks for watching. Peace. Bye.